With the third overall pick in the 2025 MLB draft, the Mariners selected left-handed pitcher Kade Anderson out of LSU. As I'm sure all of you know at this point, there was a lot going against the Mariners here, and even Joe and I did not expect the Mariners to be able to draft Kade Anderson, but what exactly was the thought process behind it? Because the Mariners could have gone a very similar route to the teams in front of them and not drafted Kade Anderson. We saw the Angels take Tyler Bremner instead. We know that Liam Doyle and guys like that were on the Mariners' radar. Why specifically Kade Anderson? We're going to break that down in this video, the real truth as to why the Mariners drafted Kade Anderson. We all know Kade Anderson's name by now. He led all of college baseball in strikeouts in 2025, including a 10 strikeout shutout versus Coastal Carolina in Game 1 of the Men's College World Series. Kade Anderson is an absolute dog. Kade Anderson had Tommy John surgery in high school, missing his entire senior season, and slowly kind of broke into college ball, rehabbing from that arm injury. But in 2025, he put it all together with a 4-pitch mix. Kade's got a 4-seam fastball that sits 92 to 94 and can sometimes touch even 97. And we saw that in the game versus Coastal Carolina on his 130th pitch. He threw a fastball at 95 miles an hour. He was not slowing down. He also has an upper 70s curveball that he claims he relies on quite a bit. He's been throwing it since he was 10 years old, and he has a really good feel for it. But he also this year developed a slider. It has a high spin rate, mid-80s slider, one that has kind of become an out pitch for Kade over the past season or so, and he employs a mid-80s changeup with fade and sink that has become a true weapon as he has used it more often. Now, there's still a lot of projection with Kade Anderson. He's 6'2". He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. And there's a possibility that he's going to throw even harder than he does right now. Could we see Kade Anderson maybe sit 94, 95 instead of 92 to 94? I think that's certainly possible. You can see in 2025, Kade Anderson went 12-1 with a 3.18 ERA with 119 innings pitched. He struck out 180 batters in those 119 innings, and he walked 35, which was good for a 5.14 strikeouts to walk ratio and a 13.6 strikeouts per 9 ratio. Kade Anderson's fastball plays really well up in the zone, similar to that of Bryce Miller. His high spin rate fastball, even though he doesn't throw it exceptionally hard, he's not throwing it, 100 miles an hour, it still plays up at the top of the strike zone. Scott Hunter, the Mariners' director of scouting, said he's got a combination of George Kirby and Logan Gilbert. He wants to learn, he wants to develop his pitches like Logan, and he's kind of stoic like George is, just that silent competitor that may not say a whole lot, but when you talk to him, he says the right things and what's important to us and what's important to him. Now, allegedly, Kade has already received text messages from guys like Logan Gilbert. I'm sure he's heard from most of the pitching staff at this point. And it's really cool to see a frontline starter come out of LSU because, can I remind you of the last frontline starter that came out of LSU? There's a guy by the name of, Paul Skeens. The guy started in the All-Star game tonight for the National League. And they actually have compared his development to that of Paul Skeens. In an article on MLB.com, they go on to say, because he's far more seasoned in his development, the Mariners believe that he could be on an accelerated path to the majors, not far off from fellow LSU standout Paul Skeens, who was taken number 1 overall in 2023 and made his debut less than 1 year later. However, because of his high volume at LSU, 119 innings, he's not expected to pitch again this season at a minor league affiliate. Now, that's something that Joe and I were wondering. Is he going to pitch? And I kind of assume no, he's not. Again, he threw 119 innings, which, coming off of Tommy John, 2 years removed at this point, however, is still a lot of innings. And he was worked hard in that College World Series. Again, 130 pitches in that complete game shutout. It makes sense that the Mariners want to let him rest his arm. But when it comes to where Kade Anderson starts the season next year, I wouldn't be shocked to see him start at AA Arkansas, because when you think about the SEC and LSU, they are generally, the teams in the SEC are generally equated to that of high A or AA. And we saw what Kade Anderson could do in the SEC. So you just immediately slot him into AA, and if he's carving it up for the Arkansas Travelers at Dickey Stevens, I mean, we've seen most of the Mariners starting pitchers skip over AAA completely. Kade Anderson could literally be here by this time next year, and I would not be shocked. Now, he's going to be on an innings limit. That is completely obvious. In fact, Scott Hunter said that here.
He threw 130 innings, I think, this year, so he's not going to touch a baseball this year. But I would venture to guess that, next year, just like any pitching prospect, he'll be on a certain pitch count for the year and a certain innings limit. But, with how efficient he is, how advanced he is, I think it's probably going to be a natural progression to get him built up. So I don't know if it's next year or 2027 that he'll be ready to help us out up here in Seattle.
But innings limit or not, having somebody like Kade Anderson is a really, really big deal, and I think it was the dream scenario for the Mariners for them to be able to get him. Look at how Joe and I reacted when we heard the pick.
Third pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Seattle Mariners select Kade Anderson.
Let's go! Let's go!
A left-handed pitcher from
Yes!
LSU.
A layup!
The
Yes!
Colorado Rockies have the next pick.
Anderson had been at the top of my board for quite some time, and the reason for that is simply this. The Mariners pitching staff is going to need some help over the next couple of years, and frankly, there's a really decent chance that at least one of these starting pitchers gets traded over the next calendar year. Now, I don't think it'll be at this trade deadline. In fact, the Mariners, in my opinion, need to add at this trade deadline. But by signing Paul Skeens, who signed already, by the way, he was the first player to sign within like an hour of the pick. I've never seen it happen that fast. And he was signed under slot. The Mariners saved about $700,000 on his signing that they could reallocate to one of their other 21 picks. So not only did Kade Anderson fall to the Mariners, he took a deal to pitch for the Mariners. He is going to be massive for this team, and I think that could the Mariners trade away one of their guys this year? Now, I'm not talking one of the starting five right now, but could the Mariners go get Zach Gallen from the Arizona Diamondbacks and trade one of Emerson Hancock or Logan Evans to the Diamondbacks in that scenario because they have Kade Anderson coming up? Gallen will pitch the rest of the year. You'd figure it out for the first few months of next year, whether that be Bryce Miller coming back healthy or what have you. And then if Kade Anderson's ready to go or someone's hurt, boom, Kade Anderson is right there in the big leagues. I think that's the most likely scenario. I will be shocked if the Mariners get through this trade deadline without trading one of Hancock or Evans at this point, especially because when you look at the Mariners draft so far, I'll pull it up right here. When you look at the Mariners draft so far, like 80% of the players they've drafted in the 2025 MLB draft have been pitchers. And for the most part, every player has been a college player. The Mariners are preparing, ladies and gentlemen, for the next 2 or 3 years. They are preparing to make a massive run at this thing with some of the guys that they're adding. Now, again, a lot of these guys won't work out. That's just how drafting works. But because of that, they might feel really comfortable trading away Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock. And when it comes to this offseason, we know the Mariners were considering unloading Luis Castillo last offseason. His no-trade clause is up in January. Could the Mariners look to move on from Luis this offseason and maybe fill that role with someone a little bit cheaper and use the money that Luis was making, which is $22 million, to reallocate those funds to maybe a Logan Gilbert extension, a George Kirby extension, or going out there and adding another pitcher? It's certainly possible, and when you draft someone like Kade Anderson, you have the luxury to do that. In terms of the Mariners' top prospects, I have Kade at number 3 on my list behind Lazaro Montes and Colt Emerson. Those guys are both young. You know what I mean? They're both like 20. Kade Anderson's already closer to the big leagues than they are, and he just got drafted literally 2 days ago. I am so bullish on this pick, and I truly think that this is a sign that the Mariners may be trying to trade one of their starting pitchers this offseason. One of the frontline guys. I'm talking like Luis Castillo or George Kirby. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, but that's what I think the real reason is for going out and drafting Kade Anderson. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.
I knew it was Seattle because it was meant to be. It was meant to be.